Hi guys, I'm here with a quick video that's going to do a couple of things. I'm going to first take a second to explain what your stage 3 assignment is going to look like for Essay 3. It's really just like the big research paper that you were going to write for the end of the semester. I've had to shorten it a little bit and make some changes to kind of make sure that we all stay on track. It's not exactly what I was hoping to do, but I think it's still going to be really accessible for you guys. That being said, when I wrote the Essay 3 prompt today, I also decided to relabel some of the weekly assignments so that they more closely match what you're going to be doing to prepare. Because remember, the weekly assignments that you do over the next 4 weeks are going to build the paper. If you took 1101 with me, we're going right back to that same model that we did in 1101, which you will be so excited because you're familiar with it. That's why we've talked about that in class. For those of you who didn't have 1101, we were really intentional with the way we wrote our essays in that class. This one's been a little bit different because I've been part of this pilot program trying some new things out with y'all, but we're just going to go back to my tried and true method that I used in 1101, so I think that's great news for all of us. So that being said, I'm going to show you what your stage 3 prompt looks like. This is on Courston. So for the final essay for this class, I'm going to have you focus on one of the primary sources from our class. So you can choose between Fight Club, Handmaid's Tale, or Educated to write your research paper. You will use the grouping of, You will use the grouping of tropes that inspired stage 1 to write stage 3. So whatever 3 tropes you picked to talk about in stage 1, remember you all had you all had different things, but you had 3. That's going to be what motivates your paper. So that's your topic, is some combination of those 3 tropes. So in addition to focusing on one primary source in the introduction and all the body paragraphs, each body paragraph will also use a secondary source, which you'll pull from stage 1. So once you decide which of those 3 texts is your primary, you'll be able to use all the other stuff from stage 1 as supplemental material. So you'll have 6 other sources from stage 1. I'm not requiring that you use all of those. I'm requiring that you use one in each body paragraph. That's how it works. So you could use all of them if you love them all, or you could just pull back and use only a couple of them. But I'm not requiring a certain number, just that you engage with a different source besides your primary in each body paragraph. So as you'll see here, the introduction will have a hook, context about the primary text, and a thesis, which argues how your tropes are significant. There will be a whole weekly workshop or assignment that has you do this part, so don't worry if you're like, I don't really know. There's a whole day built in to do it. And then from there, after you establish your thesis, you will build those body paragraphs, analyzing a specific detail from the primary text and a specific one from one of your secondary sources in each body paragraph. So they'll begin with the topic sentence, summary for details, and analysis of both of the details. But again, remember, each of these steps that I'm articulating here on the prompt will be workshopped in this next week, as each weekly assignment is workshopping this stuff. So if you complete my 4 weekly assignments that I have set up, you'll have all the material ready for your paper. So then it has to have a conclusion. The final paper must be 1,500 words, which is shorter than I had originally planned. I think 1,500 words is something like 5-ish pages. I think originally it was supposed to be 7 to 9. But you're looking at, I think, roughly about 5 pages if it's 1,500 words. It has to be MLA format, has to be submitted to the Dropbox by the due date. So now that you see that, you're going to be able to understand a little bit more what is going on with the assignment. So I'm going to switch to our syllabus really quick, just so you can see that I relabeled a couple things today. Hopefully that doesn't end up being confusing, but it's basically still like the same work. So I'm going to scroll way down real fast. And this, again, if you took 1101, you'll be familiar with this. We're moving into a gathering passages assignment, which is going to be getting all the evidence that you need from your primary source. I'm going to ask you to narrow it down to one of those 3 sources and then gather your passages. You already have one passage that you did in stage 1 because you made a TDQA, at least one passage you identified, and you can use that as one of your passages. I'll explain the assignment in a second, but if you pull from stage 1 to complete this, that's fine. So passages are due first, and I'll explain. The next week you'll have a topic sentence assignment sheet due, where you're going to make the full outline of the paper. We'll be very explicit what I want you to do there. The introduction, wow, another typo, can y'all tell? I'm just like, wasn't it here? The introduction and thesis assignment will be due the 17th. The following week there'll be an assembly assignment due, and then you'll have a full week before the final paper is due. So each day is purposed to help you get ready. I'll have to go in there and fix these typos later. or maybe I won't. We'll see. Let me now, lastly, talk to you about the assignment that you have due by Friday of next week. Friday at 11:59. By that point, so a full week from today, you have an assignment due. And that's all I'm asking you to do this week is this one assignment. So if you click assignments, you'll see this box here that says week 1 gathering passages assignment. I'm going to click here and see my, I probably should click view as a student. Hang on so y'all can see what it looks like for you. One more second. Assessments, assignments, week 1. That's it. Okay, so here are my instructions. Now you'll upload a Word document to this Dropbox that follows my instructions. So I'm going to read it to you. For this first assignment, I'm asking you to go ahead and gather evidence and engage in research so that you can get ready for stage 2. So this is not busy work. Don't think I'm just like having you sit here just coming up with something to do. I promise you this is to help you. But during our discussion of all these texts, we've seen all these different tropes. Y'all picked 3 that you wanted to study. And then now you definitely in your stage 1 assignment also highlighted at least one of those 3 texts. Remember, I asked you to include at least one of those. So now's your time to narrow down on which one of those you feel most strongly or most confident about writing. So you already have, choose one of those texts and then your little group of tropes. That's really what you have as your like holding you together mentally, like that's what the paper is going to be about for you. So what you're doing now is finding the evidence of those tropes existing in your text. So I'm asking you to think of 7 individual moments where you see that trifecta of tropes represented. You're going to write the page number and contextualize the scene. So I did 3 down here just to show you an example. I decided to do nature, education, and rules and educated. And so I was like, the cover of the book shows a pencil and a small girl standing on top of a mountain. That's a piece of evidence for me that this book is dealing with nature and education and not rules necessarily, but that stood out to me, the cover. And then I also said, when describing her home early on, Westover says, Grandma thought we should be in school and not, as she put it, roaming in the mountains, which I was like, she thinks we shouldn't be in nature. We should be in an education system. She has these rules. I don't know. I felt like all that fit in with those tropes. So as I said at the bottom here, don't overthink this. If you choose a moment that fits well with 1 or 2 of your tropes but not the other, it's still okay to pick it. This is a treasure hunt and it should just be 7 compelling moments. That it's a full sentence of explanation in a page number 4. So don't just say something like, when Tyler fights the narrator. Which time did they fight? Like, be really specific. The scene where Tyler and the narrator fight outside of the bar and the narrator says, hit me again or something, right? Like, get really specific so I can know exactly what you're talking about with whichever text you chose. I'm going to fix these typos here too and make this look a little bit better before I log off today. But that is all you need to do before next Friday at 11:59. The date for that is the April 3rd. So you have all the way till April 3rd at 11:59 to find the 7 details from whichever you decide is going to be your primary source. And then from there, we're going to build over the next few weeks. Whew, I think that's all I needed to say. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to clean this up a little bit and then I'll be kind of hopping off here for today, but I'll be on over the weekend if you have anything that's, pressing. So y'all take care. I'll see you soon.